a philosophy, because, yeah, there's the element that wants the big, huge 10,000 seat multi-complex that, yeah, I definitely want it, as long as we don't have to pay for it. But if we have to pay for it, wow, you know, is a private investor gonna want the increased rates across the city so that their rates at the big complex are competitive? They don't want all their customers going and renting the other town ice and leaving their ice empty because it's so much cheaper. So now you're into this, yeah, is the rink in Cape Breton gonna pay the same rate as this big new facility because that's the agreement you made in order to get the funding? There's some major issues. It's not just go get a private investor.
No,
Oh, yeah,
but the P3 modules that the Canadian government had come up with
yeah,
are some pretty fantastic systems
they
in
work.
place.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it takes a lot of the burden off the taxpayer.
Oh, absolutely. It's,
And
they can work.
they can, and it's not just the big
Yeah.
the facilities that I can work with. I was telling someone the other day, and I use Cape Breton as an example, but they're not the only place
Right.
where they have the assisted living complex that they wanna build. They still need between $5 and $10 million to get this money in to build this facility that they need. You know, there's no reason why they can't apply for P3 funding and something like that, and to me, the city should help facilitate that. The city should be acting as a venue or a transport to allow them to get that opportunity. Now, if it doesn't go through, at least you tried.
Yeah, you made the attempt.
That's right. And I think people would be surprised, and you know what, if they're not the only place, so maybe taking an assisted living place like in Cape Breton, and maybe there's one needed in the Valley, maybe there's one needed in Garrison, then maybe the model of building those facilities can be grouped together,
Yeah.
you know, where it may attract other people in the private sector,
Yeah.
and to get those things done.
And
For-
we have to get them done.
That's right, and for as much as we want to have our youth have more of a voice and be more involved, we can't forget the seniors that we have in the city. Let's face it, they built, well,
They built this place.
that's right, they certainly have.
Yeah, oh no, it's,
Uh,
there's, like I said, there's so much on the table. And it's like, you can't waste those 4 years that are
No.
coming. We can't waste them.
No, and a big thing that I hope people understand, and it will depend who gets in, is that they get in today, tomorrow they won't notice a significant change. It will take a bit of time,
Yeah.
but I think that if the right person gets in, and the people in the city see the momentum and the change that they're trying to bring forward, and I still believe that as long as you're open and transparent with everybody, then I think you'll garner their support.
I think we're electing an 8-year term here.
Yeah. Well, there hasn't been one since we amalgamated.
But I think we're electing, I think
Yeah.
we have to look at that the people you're putting in, you hope you've got the confidence in them for an 8-year term.
That's right.
Not just 4.
That's right.
You gotta put them in, you gotta make sure people are there. Now, they gotta go through another election, but they should be people that can stand that. Because these first 4 years are critical. The second 4 years are gonna be
What makes
to make sure the ball
That's right.
roll.
That's right.
So it's, and then after that, it should be, hopefully smooth sailing. But in the meantime, we gotta start attracting business. We gotta start
And we
giving
do.
people reason to stay.
And we do. And it's surprising how many times through a day or a year that I very seldom get to watch TV anymore, but my computer I sit with my back to the television when the kids have it on. And it's amazing the commercials I see about London, Ottawa, Kingston, Peterborough,
Yeah.
you know, all these other cities. But I don't ever see any commercials about Sudbury.
No.
And I think the city has a responsibility to
So
advertise and promote us across the province.
It's like when you get a good fishing spot, you don't wanna tell anybody else about it.
But you know, we're sitting in a perfect venue where I believe the city should take full opportunity to advertise. We have students that come here from not only the province, the country, and around the world.
Yeah.
The city should be taking this opportunity here at College Boreal and at Cambridge College
Yeah.
to do everything they can to entice these people, these young people, to stay here.
Yeah. It's so nice that you mentioned that, because my next guest in 25 minutes is Bill Best, the new president from
Yeah.
Cambridge. So we'll be talking about that. I'm sure that's one of his roles, to get more involved with the city. And I think we have to, as a city, get more involved with our education.
Well, that goes right back to collaborative
Yeah.
leadership and wanting to do that. I mean, we have, I was not part of how the transit system got laid out in the city, and I don't know the ins and outs of it totally. But to me, when the transit system does get put in place and where the routes are gonna be, to me, the way that it should be directed is we should have a representative from the university, from the colleges, sitting on that committee and telling people, you know, students like to go at this time, this is more of an opportune time. Not everyone wants to go to downtown.
Yeah.
Is it not possible to have a route that goes from university, say, to the Four Corners?
Yeah, they do their shopping at the south end,
Yeah,
but they have to wait 2 hours to get back.
yeah, or they have to go downtown and back up, or they're
Right.
sitting with their groceries
Yeah.
in the middle of the rain somewhere, right?
I know
Just
it's-
things like that.
Yeah, little things that you don't
That's
know
right.
unless you're
You know?
listening to people.
Yeah.
No, that's good. We've got about 10 minutes left. Any other major things that are on your platform that, I think we've skirted an awful lot of them. And I think it's important to understand, I think the philosophy of leadership is important in this. It's, like as we've been talking, if we go back over and listen to this, there's certain strands that run throughout a
Mhm.
lot of what we've been talking. That family focus, that collaboration, that, getting down to actually truly listening to
To what
what the
people want.
little things are.
That's right.
that irritate people.
Now, I mean, we could sit here and we could talk about accountability and infrastructure, and I honestly believe everybody's gonna be talking about that. I'd be shocked if somebody didn't.
You could almost write the same thing for everybody.
That's right. The only things about infrastructure that I ever really talked about, and surprisingly enough, I saw it for the first time last night myself, was I'd like to see a lot of the minor road repairs done, especially on the major roads, done through the night. I mean, we have shift work at the hospital, we have shift work at ballet, we have shift work all over the place. I don't really understand why we can't have it with the city, so that the pothole repairs or the minor road repairs and whatnot that has to take place is done at a time, just off-peak hours.
Especially things that don't involve other companies or subcontractors.
Exactly.
If they're city, then yeah, you're right.
You know?
It makes sense. I
And you know
can
what,
s-
and if we can actually control that,
Yeah,
then maybe we can go with less contracts, and there may be an opportunity to hire more city staff.
yeah.
I'd like to see, like even something as simple as street sweeping. Why does it have to take almost 2 months to have that done? Why can't that just be done on a 24-hour basis from the minute that it starts? And they work in shift like anybody else would. You know, I think it would make a lot more people happier. You know, when the snow's gone and the pothole repair starts, major routes through the night, minor arteries are done in the day.
It's like, well, you're from the hospital industry, so, rip the bandage off fast and get that pain out of the way real quick. Don't pull it off slowly.
And you know what, maybe we can get to a lot of these problem areas a lot faster
Yeah,
if we're doing it around the clock.
absolutely.
But no, you know what, I firmly believe that, like I said, accountability infrastructure is gonna be on everybody's plate. I hope people realize that, with me running, I don't have any vendetta against the city. I'm not someone that, went up against them and lost on anything. I'm not anybody who demanded this or demanded that. I'm just somebody from the city who's lived here my whole life and feels that I can make a change, I can make a difference.
It's your turn. It's not right to sit
Yeah.
back.
I always tell my kids, you know what, if you want change, you gotta step forward at least one step, because if you don't step forward, it may never come.
No.
I believe that it's, in life, if you want change, it's you either become part of the solution or you're part of the problem. And I'm trying to become part of the solution. I put a lot on stake. Like I said, other than Brian just getting his leave, I think I'm the only one that's actually working right now during this. I'm willing to give up a job that I've had for 28 years, to do this.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I have the support of my family.
So you can't do this kind of thing
Without them.
without.
No. So, I have a vested interest, and not to say that the others don't, and I don't mean that for a second. But I'm doing this because I believe I can make change, and I believe that the change that we can have is positive. 24-hour shopping, or actually, I shouldn't say 24-hour shopping. It's giving businesses the right to choose their own operating hours, I think is important. And I think that the referendum, if people get out and vote, should decide that. And I think they have a valid reason. I mean, I didn't realize it just till a couple of years ago, that if I wanted to take my kids to a movie on Christmas Day, that the theater's open. Now, I'm not saying that stores should be open on Christmas Day, but if a movie theater can dictate that they're open on that day, why can't a grocery store decide that they want to be open a little later? Or why can't an electronics store decide that they want to have the Midnight Madness sale? Why can't they have that opportunity? I think that people will find that when and if it does pass, that no one will be buying jeans at 3 o'clock in the morning. Those aren't the stores that will be open, unless they're having a huge sale.
No, we probably, no, you're right. I mean, I don't, the stores won't stay open if they're not
That's right.
profitable. So
That's right.
It'll swing back. I mean, interestingly enough, it's being decided.
That's right.
So, I mean, this is one of those issues that council really, they're having a decision made for them, so
Yeah.
they won't have to relive it.
One of the things that I do want to do as mayor is I want to make sure that with every councilor that I've had an opportunity to meet with so far that's running, I've told them, be prepared periodically for me to give you a call about a week ahead of time and saying, you know what, your phone's going to be ringing off the hook with complaints, and so will mine. Let's pick a couple from your ward, and we're actually going to drive to their house, and we're going to knock on their door. And we're going to see what we can do regarding their problem. Now, maybe their problem may not even be a city problem, but at least we can try to direct them in the right way to go. If it is a city problem, and it's something that has to be the way it is, we're going to explain that to them. If it's a city problem that shouldn't be happening the way it is and needs to change, then we're going to let them know that their counselor that's with me is going to get back to them within a definite time frame of 5 to 10 days and let them know what's happening and what's going to change. And I honestly believe that people want to hear that.
Yeah.
I think people want to be heard.
Yeah.
And I think people realize that city council can't fix every problem. You know what, thank you very much for taking the time to come to my house and talk to me about it,
Yeah.
because I appreciate that. And I think when it comes time to the bigger issues that are gonna happen, I think if you've taken the time to meet with people about some of the smaller things, I think you're gonna garner a lot of their trust when it comes to the big things.
Yeah, and I think the size of the problem is relative. I think to a person who's unemployed, there's 100% unemployment rate. It's not.
That's right.
It's not 7. It's.
That's right.
And to the person who's having problems with their water line, that's the most important problem in the entire city. So.
Yeah.
You know, you've got that perspective. So it's responding to those little things that are huge in the life of the individual. Minor on the overall scheme of things, but that's who you represent.
Yeah.
That's who you're advocating for. Very interesting. Don't want to miss anything though. Did we cover everything that you
I
wanted?
think we did. The one thing that we really didn't touch on that is important to me since the last 5 or 6 years with becoming more and more involved with charities is I still think that the city has a huge responsibility to some of the social programs that go on around here. And I think it's imperative that the city doesn't forget that. And I do think that they do a lot of good work when it comes to that. And I hope that continues. We just said not everybody's as lucky as the next.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make them any less important.
No. And yeah, the charitable organizations are doing an awful lot of good work for the city.
They are.
If we support them, it kind
They are.
of makes our job a little bit easier too.
Yeah.
So I think taking that kind of mindset forward is good. Oh, yeah, we've got 4 years of unbelievable work, but the responsibility for these next 4 years, to me, is this next council is either going to be, I don't know whether they'll be held to blame for kind of hitting the end of the road, or be given credit for turning the ship around. But
Mhm.
but the next 4 years is definitely gonna be something that we're
Well, the
gonna
one
have to
thing I
live
do hope for with the next group that comes in is I hope we have a lot more of definite decisions made
with. Yeah.
and a lot of definite, we're gonna postpone this for another couple of weeks or
I
another
don't-
couple of months.
I don't think we have the time anymore.
We don't, we
If the
don't.
decision's wrong, change it later on.
yeah,
You know, you can always
yeah.
revisit a decision if some new.
We have to
information
start
comes.
moving forward,
But you've gotta start moving.
yeah.
And if there's no waves in the harbor, there's no ships moving, I guess there's
Yeah.
gonna be some waves that are caused.
That's right, like, not everyone's gonna be happy.
But we all have to survive. I really appreciate you taking the time to come in, it's been.
I
it's been
I
good.
feel privileged that,
I feel bad that I can't.
it's
I
an
didn't re-
anniversary though.
Yeah, it is, our anniversary, the anniversary, first online show was the Learning Clinic, August 25th, 2008. I can remember, I even got the picture on my website of the former general manager sitting here, thumbs up.
Yeah,
So it's, there's communication around the world, so. Jeff Huska, running for mayor, City of Greater Sudbury, wish you the best of luck, it's gonna be a busy 9 weeks.
it is. Thank you, Robert, I appreciate you
Yeah,
having me.
Thanks for coming in. You're listening to the Learning Clinic on CKLU 96.7 FM. I'm your host, Bob Kerwin, and I want to remind you, stay tuned at 2 o'clock. We have Bill Best, who is the new president of Cambridge College, coming in. Thanks, Jeff. Shut this off.